Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew, Part 1. When creating the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland, they couldn't create skeletons that looked realistic enough, so they used real human skeletons. Since then, they've removed all but one. Ducks sometimes become cannibals due to boredom, meaning they kill and eat each other. This behavior begins as early as 4 weeks old. Crocodiles are capable of galloping, similar to a horse. Luckily, alligators cannot. And while we're at it, tarantulas can swim. It's extremely common after you die that there will be extreme gas buildup and you will burp after death. And sometimes dead bodies can even sit up on their own. Also, if a pregnant woman dies, the gas buildup in her body can actually forcefully push a baby out. In other words, a post-mortem baby bazooka. Hearing is the last bodily function to go after one dies, so it's very possible that the last thing you ever hear is the paramedic calling off your CPR. Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew, Part 2. In its natural habitat, a blowfish isn't actually ugly. This is one 3,000 feet below sea level. But this is one after extreme tissue damage after being pulled up rapidly by a fisherman. Men who are hanged get what is called a death erection, which I'm assuming is pretty awkward for the family. There's a parasite that enters a fish's mouth, eats the tongue, and replaces itself as the new tongue. Blue-eyed people are statistically more likely to suffer from depression and alcoholism. Sometimes an Amber Alert causes the kidnapper to panic and kill the child immediately. Every year you live through the future anniversary of your death. CNN has a pre-recorded broadcast for the end of the world. Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew, Part 3. The first firefighter killed in 9/11 attacks was struck dead by a falling body in the courtyard. One of them was killed on his way in, and the other was killed on his way out. Right now, there are tiny little bugs on your face munching on your dead skin. Your bones are wet. If you don't have kids, you will break an unbroken line of children that has gone on for tens of millions of years. A scientist studying death asked a man who was about to be executed by a guillotine if he would blink after his head was chopped off. He ended up blinking for 30 seconds. Most laugh tracks for TV shows were recorded in the early 1950s, meaning that you hear dead people laugh. If you're attacked by a bear, it won't try to kill you like other predators. Instead, it'll just start eating you. One day, someone will mention you for the last time, then they'll never ever mention you again. Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew, Part 4. The reason your dog likes squeaky toys so much is because the squeak reminds them of small animals dying. Every day, one person takes the biggest shit in the world and they have no idea it was them. The entire universe outside of our galaxy could have disappeared over 20,000 years ago. This is because our view of the universe is what it looked like thousands to billions of years ago. Some tumors can contain pockets of hair and teeth and grow complex organs such as eyes, feet, and hands. There are at least 92 nuclear weapons in the world that are known to be missing. Brain aneurysms can happen whenever, wherever. Polar bears are thought to be some of the only animals that actively hunt humans. You can think about wanting to move your hand and it won't move, but when you want to move your hand, it moves. Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew, Part 5. Despite if you're using incognito mode, Wi-Fi routers actually keep logs of what websites you visit, and the owner of the router can check this whenever they want. So hopefully you don't have anything to hide. A woman in Russia had a shit ton of twins, triplets, and quadruplets with the same man, totaling to 69 children. Nice. Tarantulas taste like shrimp. According to some cannibals, the most delicious part of the human body is the eyeball, and they especially like licking them. The skin on your lips is the same skin that's on your butthole. Dolphins sometimes bite off the head of a fish and masturbate into the decapitated body. A bubble caused by false vacuum decay could be growing through our universe right now, destroying everything it touches, and we would have no idea because it travels at the speed of light. 2020, please no. Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew, Part 6. A scorpion can hold its breath underwater for 6 days, so drowning one is not going to save you. Bee testicles explode when they finish, and then they die. In other words, they end their life with a bang. The human anus can stretch up to 7 inches without tearing, and a raccoon can fit into spaces as tight as 4 inches, meaning you could fit almost 2 full-sized raccoons up your ass. Kangaroos have 3 vaginas. There have been quite a few cases of men who decided to take a piss off the ledge of the Grand Canyon only to lose their balance and fall to their death. When you smell anything, the particles of that thing are actually going inside of your nose. So when you smell a fart, microscopic poop particles are going inside of your nose. Your body produces a cancerous cell every 30 minutes. Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew, Part 7. A man was working outside when a fly flew into his eye for a split second and laid eggs. When they began to hatch, they started eating his eye from the inside, and he began to go blind. The Magnapenna squids are a group of rarely seen sea creatures that live 4,000 feet below the surface of the ocean and are believed to grow up to 27 feet long. 20% of young children report hearing voices. The average person only sees 5,000 movies in their lifetime, and Netflix has over 7,000 movies. So if you want to know which ones to watch, there's this really great app, click the link in my bio. Even if you follow the 5-second rule, tiny insects can crawl on your food and you'll eat them without knowing. For the role of Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, actress Judy Garland was forced to live on a diet of coffee, soup, and 80 cigarettes a day. And the actors who played the Munchkins groped and molested her, and she was even slapped by the director for laughing during a scene. Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew, Part 8. Pigs will eat literally anything. There are stories of pigs entering farmhouses and eating newborn babies. Speaking of babies, doctors believed that they didn't feel pain until 1987, so they would operate on newborns without anesthesia. Whistling was a way in which people would summon demons in ancient times. In 1968, every single TV in America shut down for 25 seconds, and there was a sound broadcasted on all of them that many believe was the devil's voice. People born deaf with schizophrenia often see disembodied hands signing them as opposed to hearing voices. A mysterious skeleton only 6 inches long was discovered outside a ghost town in Chile. It was declared to be human and lived for as long as 8 years. Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew, Part 9. The slogan for Nike was inspired by the last words of a notorious killer who was about to be executed. Just do it. Former President Teddy Roosevelt had to watch his mother die due to typhoid fever and then immediately go upstairs and see his wife pass away due to complications during childbirth. Your physical brain smells sweet. The hair frog, also known as the Wolverine frog, will break its own bones and force them through its skin so it can have claws to fight off predators. In the 1960s, scientists attempted to teach dolphins English. However, the experiment soon ended because one of the scientists, Margaret Lovatt, started having sex with a dolphin named Peter, which she claims he initiated. Needless to say, the funding was cut for the experiment and Peter killed himself after Margaret left. Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew, Part 10. The chemical weapon sarin gas works by not allowing your body's muscles to relax, so they can constrict but are unable to release, causing every single part of your body to cramp until you suffocate to death. Up until the 1800s, dentures were primarily made by the teeth of dead soldiers. Speaking of teeth, babies' adult teeth are located right below their eyeballs. There was a Roman form of torture known as goat's lick, where a person's feet were soaked in salt water and the goat would lick their feet until their flesh was gone. Most serial killers are born in November. When a woman with breast implants is cremated, her implants will melt and drip to the bottom of the furnace. A man was once discovered to have a fir tree growing inside of his body. The doctors thought it was a tumor, but they soon discovered he had inhaled a fir tree seed and it had sprouted and grown inside of his lungs. Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew, Part 11. And make sure to watch till the end of the video because the last fact will be from this game called I Wish I Didn't Know. Right now, in your bed are between 100,000 to 10 million dust mites. And if this isn't bad enough, they feast on skin flakes. An octopus is so flexible that it's capable of entering through your mouth, traveling through your digestive tract, and coming out through your asshole. There are over 200 dead bodies on Mount Everest and they're used as checkpoints by climbers. If you die inside of your house, it's very common that your pet is going to want to eat you. You wouldn't do that, would you? Neil Armstrong's footprints on the moon don't match up with the ones on his astronaut suit. And the craziest one, the natural vanilla, strawberry, and raspberry flavoring actually comes from a beaver's anal gland. Jesus Christ. Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew, Part 12. When a person is electrocuted via electric chair, they feel absolutely everything. They're completely aware of their body being deep fried in real time. And one person who survived the first round of electrocution said it tasted like cold peanut butter. As you're watching this video, your internal organs are constantly moving around inside you. Your armpit is where most of your important nerves in your arms are, so if you stab it, it will leave your arm completely useless. Ted Bundy, the serial killer, used to work at a suicide hotline. Scaphism was a form of ancient torture where someone's body was tied between two boats and they were covered in milk and honey, and bugs and other animals would feast on their body for days. Cotard's delusion is a rare condition where people literally think they're dead, and many of them ask to be taken to a cemetery to be with other dead people. Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew, Part 13. Hundreds of thousands of bodies have either been lost or buried at sea, so every time you swim in the ocean, you're basically bathing in a graveyard. Chainsaws were originally invented for childbirth. Female mummies in ancient Egypt were always decomposed more than the male ones, and this is because the male bodies were embalmed a lot sooner while the female bodies were kept at the family home until they started to decompose a little bit. And this was to prevent people from having sex with the dead female bodies. Vlad the Impaler was called this because he would place his enemies ass first on pointed poles that would slowly skewer them to death. Fatal familial insomnia is a disease where a person literally cannot go to sleep no matter what they take or what they do. The symptoms get progressively worse until they die of exhaustion. And for the last one, you might want to look up who invented blow-up dolls. Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew, Part 14. There was a woman in the 18th century named Mary Toft who shoved dead rabbits inside of her and later acted as if she gave birth to them. And the doctors actually believed her until one of them discovered corn inside one of the rabbit's stomachs. More people have tapeworms than have dogs, which I guess makes them the most popular pet. Oh yeah, and this is what it looks like up close. So you know how every few pistachios you eat, there's always one that tastes a little bit different? Well yeah, it's because there's a dead navel orange worm inside of it. An octopus's penis is actually one of its tentacles, so if you ever got to pet one at SeaWorld, you might have just groped the damn thing. Dying from starvation is because your body used all of its resources in order to feed your brain. And as a last resort, it begins to digest the muscle around your most vital organs until all that's left is your heart. So you die by eating your heart.